In 2021, UNESCO declared LaGuardia Airport the world's best new airport terminal. In 2023, Skytrax made it the first terminal in North America to ever earn a 5-star rating. Forbes named it America's #1 airport 2 years in a row. And in 2025, the same airport had the second worst cancellation rate of any major airport in the United States. The Port Authority spent $8 billion completely rebuilding LaGuardia. The terminals are world-class. The architecture won every award there is. The airport itself is still broken. The runways are still too short. The flights are still canceled. The trains still don't go there. This is the story of what happens when you spend $8 billion fixing the wrong problem. To understand why LaGuardia is broken, you have to start with one offhand comment. February 4, 2014. Vice President Joe Biden is speaking at the National Press Club. He says this: "If I took you and blindfolded you and took you to LaGuardia Airport in New York, you must think I must be in some third world country. I'm not joking." The line went viral. New York's governor, Andrew Cuomo, was humiliated. 18 months later, Cuomo stood at a luncheon with Biden in the audience and announced an $8 billion reconstruction of LaGuardia. New terminals, new parking, new roads, an AirTrain to the subway. Cuomo called it a globally renowned 21st century airport. 10 years later, the airport is finished, and by every measure that actually matters, it's still broken. The new Terminal B opened in June 2020, 1.3 million square feet, 35 gates, the first dual pedestrian sky bridges that allow aircraft to taxi underneath. Cost? $5.1 billion. Built by a private consortium, the largest public-private partnership in American aviation history. In June 2022, Delta opened Terminal C, 1.3 million square feet, 37 gates, 85% larger than what it replaced. Cost? $4 billion. Delta's largest single airport investment ever. The awards came immediately. UNESCO Prix Versailles 2021 for Best New Airport in the World. Skytrax 5 stars in 2023, renewed in 2025, the only North American terminal with that rating. Forbes ranked LaGuardia America's #1 airport for 2024 and 2025. Inside the terminals, the rebuild is a masterpiece. High ceilings, local food, world-class lounges. The Port Authority's executive director called it the transformation from worst to best. He's right about the terminals. But here's the thing about airports. The terminals are not what makes them work. Look at LaGuardia from above. The entire airport sits on 680 acres. For context, Denver International is 33,531 acres. Dallas-Fort Worth is 17,207 acres. JFK is 4,930. LaGuardia is the smallest major airport footprint in the New York region, smaller than many regional airports. It's hemmed in by water on 3 sides: Flushing Bay South, Bowery Bay North. On the 4th side, the Grand Central Parkway and the residential streets of East Elmhurst, Queens. There is no land to expand onto. There is no room. And the runways. There are 2, runway 4/22 and 13/31. They cross each other in the middle of the airport. They are exactly 7,002 feet long each. For comparison, JFK's longest runway is 14,511 feet, more than twice as long. Denver's longest is 16,000 feet. 7,002 feet is barely enough for a fully loaded narrow-body jet. It's why LaGuardia can't host wide-body aircraft. It's why LaGuardia can't fly to Europe or Asia. The $8 billion rebuild did not lengthen the runways by a single foot, because there's nowhere to extend them. Flushing Bay is right there at the end. Bowery Bay is right there at the other end. You can spend $8 billion. You cannot make the bay smaller. So, if you can't make the runways longer, what do? The FAA's answer is to cap how many planes can land and take off. LaGuardia is one of only 3 airports in the United States where the FAA controls every single takeoff and landing by slot.
And in 2025, even that cap couldn't save the airport from collapse.
Under an FAA order running through October 2026, LaGuardia is capped at 71 scheduled flight operations per hour, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9:50 p.m. 71 takeoffs and landings per hour, period. The cap was 75 in 2008. The FAA cut it to 71 in 2009 after their own analysis found a smaller cap would reduce average delays by 41%. But here's the punchline. In September 2023, the FAA began granting slot usage waivers at LaGuardia. Airlines must normally use their slots 80% of the time or lose them. The waiver let airlines return up to 10% of their slots without penalty. The agency said it was temporary to deal with controller staffing shortages. That waiver has been extended again and again and again. In July 2025, the FAA extended it through October 2026, 3 full years of consecutive waivers. The Federal Aviation Regulator is telling airlines, in writing, that the airspace around LaGuardia cannot reliably handle the schedule they want to fly, and the data backs that up. The Bureau of Transportation Statistics found LaGuardia had the 3rd worst cancellation rate of any major U.S. airport in 2024, 2.32% of all flights canceled. In 2025, it got worse, 3.12%, the 2nd worst in the country. Only Reagan National was worse. Then came October 2025. The federal government shut down. Air traffic controllers, already understaffed, started calling out. The New York TRACON was reportedly staffed at 58% of its certified target. LaGuardia's on-time performance for October 2025 collapsed to 53.4%, 464 flights canceled in a single month. December was worse, 52.5% on time, 967 cancellations, an 1,873% increase from the year before. This is what $8 billion of new architecture got you. The same airspace, the same cap, the same cancellations. The terminals are beautiful. The flights still don't leave on time.
There's one more thing the rebuild couldn't fix. The strangest rule in American aviation. LaGuardia has a 1,500-mile perimeter rule. It means no airline can fly non-stop from LaGuardia to any airport more than 1,500 miles away, with 2 exceptions. The first is Saturdays. On Saturdays, the rule doesn't apply. The second exception is Denver. Denver was grandfathered in 1984. Denver is exactly 1,479 miles from LaGuardia, just barely inside the line. That's it. From the largest city in the United States, you can't fly non-stop from LaGuardia to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Phoenix, Las Vegas, or anywhere in Hawaii or Alaska unless it's Saturday. The rule was imposed by the Port Authority in November 1984 to force long-haul flights to use JFK and Newark instead. It's been there for 40 years. The $8 billion rebuild did not change the perimeter rule, because the rule isn't really about distance, it's about traffic management. If LaGuardia were allowed to fly to the West Coast, demand would explode. The 71 flights per hour cap would collapse. The runways are too short for the heaviest aircraft. So, the rule stays. Forever. Because it's the only thing keeping the airport from being completely overwhelmed. There's one more thing the rebuild was supposed to fix. You can't get to LaGuardia. It's the only major airport in the New York region with no rail connection. JFK has the AirTrain, Newark has the AirTrain, LaGuardia has buses. In 2015, Governor Cuomo announced an AirTrain LGA project. Estimated cost, $450 million. Estimated opening, 2022. By 2021, the cost had climbed to $2.4 billion. The route was bizarre. It ran east from Manhattan to Citi Field, then doubled back west to the airport. Critics noted it would actually take longer than the existing bus. In March 2023, Governor Kathy Hochul canceled the project.
Why not just extend the N and W subway directly to the airport? The Port Authority said an extension would conflict with the approach to runway 04. You can't tunnel directly into the airport without burying a tunnel under the active runway. Estimated cost, $5.4 to $6.2 billion. Estimated timeline, 12+ years. It's not happening. LaGuardia in 2026 has world-class terminals connected to the rest of New York City by exactly the same buses and the same Grand Central Parkway that existed in 1990. You can spend $8 billion. You cannot put a subway through a runway.
So here's the verdict. The Port Authority spent $8 billion and got exactly what $8 billion can buy: world-class terminals, award-winning architecture, a passenger experience inside the buildings that competes with the best airports in the world. They could not buy more land. Land doesn't exist there. They could not extend the runways. The bay is in the way. They could not lift the FAA cap. The airspace is too congested. They could not remove the perimeter rule. The airport would collapse. They could not build a train. The subway can't cross the runway. And as a result, in 2024 and 2025, LaGuardia had among the worst cancellation rates of any major airport in the country. In October 2025, when the government shut down, the airport ran at 53% on-time performance for an entire month. In March 2026, an Air Canada Express regional jet collided with a Port Authority fire truck on runway 4/22. 2 pilots were killed, 41 people were injured. In May 2026, a sinkhole opened on the same runway and shut it down for 2 days. This is what the most awarded terminal renovation in American history looks like when you walk outside the building. The rebuild was the right project, executed correctly, that fixed the only problem that $8 billion could fix. The problems that actually break LaGuardia, the runway length, the airspace congestion, the ground access, none of those have a financial solution. They have geographic solutions. And the geography of a 1939 airport built on top of an old amusement park on the edge of an estuary in Queens does not change because you build a beautiful terminal. Hit subscribe for more deep dives into the airports nobody wants to talk about honestly.